Imagine waking up one morning to find out that a major bank vault, filled with over $15 million in cash and valuables, has been completely emptied. And the craziest part? Not a single alarm went off. No forced entry, no broken locks, no signs of a break-in whatsoever. It was as if the money had simply vanished into thin air. This isn't a scene from a Hollywood movie. This is the true story of one of the most audacious heists in history. So how did they pull it off? The answer lies not above ground, but deep beneath the city streets. The masterminds behind this incredible crime didn't bother with the front door. They didn't try to crack a sophisticated security system or outsmart guards. Instead, they took a page out of an old-school playbook and executed it with modern precision. They dug a tunnel. But this wasn't just any tunnel. It was a marvel of underground engineering, a secret passage that led them directly to their prize without anyone ever knowing they were there. For months, a team of dedicated criminals worked in secret, slowly but surely carving a path right under the bank. Think about the sheer audacity and patience required for something like this. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. The planning would have been meticulous, taking months, maybe even over a year. They would have needed to study city blueprints, understand geological surveys, and calculate the exact trajectory to hit a specific point directly beneath the vault floor. Every inch of progress had to be perfect. A few feet off in one direction, and they could have emerged in the wrong room, or worse, triggered a collapse. The work itself would have been grueling, digging through dirt, rock, and navigating around sewer lines and utility cables, all while trying to remain completely undetected. They had to dispose of tons of soil without raising any suspicion. Where did all that dirt go? It's a question that baffled investigators for a long time. This tunnel was their key to everything. It wasn't a crude hole in the ground. It was a sophisticated construction. Reports from the investigation revealed that the tunnel was likely reinforced with wooden beams and even had its own lighting and ventilation system. This allowed the crew to work for long hours in relative comfort and safety, moving ever closer to their target. Their final goal was to breach the thick, steel-reinforced concrete floor of the bank's vault. Using specialized and likely very quiet drilling equipment, they managed to create an opening just large enough to slip through, bypassing layers of motion detectors, pressure plates, and seismic sensors. All the high-tech security systems were pointed at the doors and walls, but nobody ever thought to protect the vault from an attack from below. The brilliance of their plan was its simplicity. By staying underground, they were invisible. They operated in a blind spot that the bank's multi-million-dollar security network simply couldn't see. While guards patrolled the floors above and cameras monitored every entrance, this crew was quietly working underneath them all. They likely timed their final entry for a long weekend, giving them ample time to clear out the vault without interruption. They came and went like ghosts, leaving behind an empty room and a mystery that would stun the world. The first bank employees to open the vault that Monday morning must have been in utter disbelief. Everything looked normal from the outside. The massive, impenetrable vault door was still locked and secure. But when they swung it open, they were met with a scene of absolute emptiness. Safe deposit boxes were pried open, and stacks of cash were gone. Panic immediately set in. The initial assumption was that it must have been an inside job. How else could someone get into a sealed vault? The police and federal investigators were called in, and they were just as baffled. They scoured the bank for clues, reviewing hours of security footage, but found nothing. There were no unauthorized entries, no suspicious activity, nothing to indicate a breach. It was the perfect crime. It was until a forensic team began a detailed examination of the vault itself that they found the answer. A subtle disturbance in the floor, a section that didn't seem quite right. When they pulled back the carpeting and tapped on the concrete, they heard a hollow sound. And when they finally broke through, they uncovered the hole, the entrance to the tunnel. Imagine the scene as investigators first lowered a camera down that dark hole, revealing a long, man-made passage stretching out into the darkness. The discovery sent shockwaves through the law enforcement community and the public. It was something out of a detective novel. The sheer ambition of it was staggering. The police followed the tunnel from the bank, and it led them on a journey of several hundred feet right under a busy street, eventually surfacing in a nearby rented house or an abandoned commercial property that the gang had used as their base of operations. Inside, they found tools, discarded blueprints, and the remnants of a long-term, highly organized project. But the criminals themselves were long gone. This heist immediately went down in the annals of criminal history as one of the most clever and daring robberies ever attempted. It combined old-world grit with brilliant strategic planning. It wasn't just about stealing money. It was about defeating an entire system designed to be unbeatable. The story became a legend, a testament to the fact that sometimes the most effective solutions are the ones no one is looking for. The media dubbed it the tunnel heist, and it captured the public's imagination. People were simultaneously outraged and, in a strange way, impressed by the ingenuity of the thieves. They had pulled off the impossible. But the story doesn't end there. With $15 million and a significant head start, the crew disappeared without a trace. The investigation that followed was one of the largest in the country's history, a desperate manhunt to find the phantoms who had burrowed their way into a fortune. Did they make a clean getaway, living out their lives in luxury on some remote island? Or did their own greed and paranoia eventually lead to their downfall? The authorities had a few leads, some whispers in the criminal underworld, but tracking down ghosts is never easy. And what they eventually discovered about the identities of the people involved, and the one tiny mistake that threatened to unravel their entire operation, is a story all on its own. The hunt was on, but whether it led to justice or just more dead ends, well, that's where things get really interesting. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to find out what happened next.